Oh, what all you got up here today? Everything's different back there, Dan.
Nothing is different.
That's a lie. All of your pictures are different.
Nope.
What?
Had the candy canes and put the candy canes up and this up last week. Same.
Was it? So this is the same as last week, but not weeks prior. All right, listen. I only have so much retention. All right, can't waste it.
Include putting the Tony. What the fuck?
Hate watching with Dan and Tony. Hate watching with Dan and Tony. It's hate watching, yeah.
Welcome back. Or welcome for the first time to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony.
Probably the second one.
Dan.
And I'm Tony.
The second one. It's my show. He's he's the Ed McMahon to my
I
Jay
set
Cruz.
him up and you knock him down.
So we're finishing Christmas month, holiday month, with one of Tony's picks.
One of Tony's home run.
Better picks, yeah. I have to say.
I finally got one kind of right, I think.
Yeah, a movie that, is a movie. Fred Claus. Oh, man, I didn't write down what year it was from. 2007 or something?
I don't know. Vince Vaughn. Peak Vince Vaughn. Right at the tail end of Vince Vaughn.
13. Sometime in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Clocking in an hour and 55 minutes.
Oh, wow. That is a little bit longer. Yeah.
And an hour and 55 minutes kind of clues you in that they're going to have 2 or 3 too many subplots.
Yeah. I think that might be generous, but yeah. Yeah.
Wait, you mean there's 7 or 8?
I would say in the middle. There's 5 or 6 plots that I could just lift out of the movie and really focus on 2, maybe 3, and then I feel like it'd be a much better movie.
Yeah, it's a little like New Year's Eve where you're
but with so many less characters. That's the crazy thing. They just all have 2 or 3 plots that are just
wrap around. So we start with a voiceover. Pretty cottage. I love that cottage. The cottage was good looking.
Beautiful set area in this. I wonder where they shot this or if they built it, because I like it a lot. They probably
built it. It was gorgeous. Just that is probably one of the best parts of the movie was how gorgeous this little cottage was.
I also, not to jump ahead, but the North Pole, also a great set. I thought that was really pretty as well.
I thought it was pretty. We'll get to all that. Okay. I mean, the snow was fake snow.
Yes.
And so you could really, there were times at which you were like, oh, wow, they're walking around a set with a lot of fake snow.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Which kind of
takes you right out of it, doesn't it, Dan?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that was one of the few nice things about Deck the Halls is that there was actual snow.
Yeah, it was pretty clear they were just outside. Listen, they didn't have the money to bring in a snow machine.
So we start off, we're doing a story about a boy named Fred. We meet his dad, who I thought was Patrick Stewart at first, but is some other guy who I don't know. Kathy Bates is the mom.
Yeah.
And then baby Santa is just getting born, and his name is Nicholas. And the beginning line that sets up everything, I promise to be the best big brother.
But hold on, though. Before that, we get a line where they go, it's the fattest baby I've ever seen. And I could relate to that. That's how I felt when I was born as well.
Now, was it the fattest baby they've ever seen?
It just kind of looked like a regular baby to me. To be clear, I haven't been in a lot of delivery rooms, but it didn't seem like a scarily large baby. It felt like a baby.
The thing I noticed is it had a big cheeks and everything. Uh-oh. But are we freezing again? We're freezing a little bit.
Oh boy.
I can see you. I could see you. I could see you and hear you, Tony. Tony, I could see you and hear you.
I got you.
Tony.
I got you. You're back.
So this baby like has a pretty, cherubic face, but then like when they sort of shoot the baby from behind, like the whole bottom of him, it just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And so I have the feeling they kind of like plumped up the baby, in the kid shots, that they didn't want to really hire a kid who was overweight.
A fat baby. You don't want, because you don't want to shame the baby, Dan. Okay. It's going to have lifelong problems after that.
So it was kind of a baby in a fat suit, it felt like, and a kid in a fat suit, which just sort of like, I don't know.
A little
weird.
It's a weird
and it
choice.
was same thing with Paul Giamatti later on. There's times where they shoot him from behind, and you can tell he's got a bit of a belly, but then he just
like
branches out.
Yeah. And it doesn't look realistic.
No.
So I have a couple of questions just on this. I'm sure we'll get to all this in the next minute or two, but are they magic beings? I'm honestly confused.
They explain it.
Do they?
We'll get to that right at the end, and that's one of my big issues with the whole thing.
Okay.
At this is 6 minutes and 32 seconds, our whole setup of the movie.
Jesus.
Sort of the setup, So basically, we quickly find out that Nicholas can do anything, and he's like the magic baby.
Yeah, okay.
But does he? He's actually kind of a little dick.
He is definitely a dick. He's the kid that pretends to be cute to your mom, and then as soon as she turns away, he just whacks you in the back of the head.
Yeah, so they don't do a good job of the things that he does that are problematic. They feel very personal. They do not feel like they're accidents, because
the kid is in a tree and the brother chops it down while he's in it. That kid's dead unless they're magic, which I still am unclear.
They're not magic.
Then how does he go through the chimney as a kid? Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Just direct the show.
Let's get to the first part where we deal with the magic, and then we can talk more deeply about the magic.
I'll stand by.
And don't get me wrong, the main criticisms with this movie, well, not the main, but a major source of criticism for this movie is the lore about it.
Oh, is it? Okay, good.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
That's like 60% of my problems with this movie. Okay.
Yeah. So he cuts down the tree because what's his name's up there, and it destroys his birdhouse and chases away his only friend, which is a bird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Is it the same bird? Or is it just probably a bunch of birds that just happen to come
one bird.
to the feeder? I understand that that's what they're saying, but is that a thing?
It had a name. Yeah. Oh, yeah. People have very particular relationships with specific birds. Okay. Absolutely.
I did not know.
My dad has crows, and there are definitely different crows that have different... No, actually, he doesn't have crows. He has ravens.
Oh.
Do you know the difference between a crow and a raven?
One of them's a murder. It's a murder of crows. I don't know what a bunch of ravens is. Ravens
are much bigger than crows. Mostly you see crows, but when you see really big black birds, they're usually ravens.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he cuts down the tree, and Nick basically just ruins things. And so, what's his name begins to become resentful of him. Oh yes, he gives him a birthday book with his name on it, and then immediately the kid's like, "I'm going to go and give this to someone that is poor."
Yeah, like a super heartfelt, very personalized gift, and you're just gonna go give it to someone else? Like, screw you, kid! I'd be mad too.
Yeah, and maybe have him give it to him, and then the next year he gives it away. But just immediately blowing him up just seems like Santa's the jerk.
Yeah,
there's no point at which young Santa doesn't feel like a jerk.
Yeah, I would smack that kid in his little tiny head.
So at the very end, we have this whole giant voiceover which says, "And Nicholas went on to become a saint. And when you become a saint, you and your family and all your relatives become immortal forever."
Yeah, no, okay. So that's what you were saying is the explanation. I don't find that to be an explanation at all. That opens up so many more questions for me. But I still don't understand. In the beginning, when he's a kid, he goes down the chimney.
Yeah, he falls down the chimney, yeah.
Does he fall? He seems totally fine. He's like, the door was locked, so I went through the chimney. As if that's a thing that you can just do.
And the other thing we sort of sort of gloss over at the end of the movie when we have the gigantic, delivering of all the presents is how does Vince Vaughn's character, who's, taking the role, how does he get back up those chimneys?
Because they're not magic as far as I can tell. How do the reindeer even fly? I don't understand anything. Why take the time to explain why they don't age, quote unquote, explain, and then don't explain anything else? Just leave it as they're magic beings.
Well, it's because they don't really want to delve in. The writer does not want to spend the time. And the funny thing is they literally have a way to explain everything in here, and they choose not to use it at all. Kevin Spacey's character,
who I don't understand at all, so I'm sure you're going to have to explain that to me.
Okay, so we'll get to that. So that's the setup. Santa's magic, he becomes a saint for unknowable reasons, which I did
probably
my Santa Claus.
A dick.
It's pretty much why most of the saints out there, they just did a lot of dick maneuvers and then then the church looked them over and was like, yeah, do you know what it takes to become a saint?
I honestly do not.
You have to, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 or 3, but you have to have done a miracle.
This is real life?
This is real life, man. Real life, baby.
Okay.
All you gotta do is a miracle.
I need examples.
Water into wine?
But that didn't. Okay.
What do you mean that didn't? Jesus did that.
Yeah. You know what?
J-Man.
We probably shouldn't get into a religious thing.
J-Bird.
Gonna turn off a lot of people.
Okay, so that's what you got to do, a miracle,
okay.
And then the church looks at it and they're like,
Is
and
this
then if
a miracle or a magic trick?
If they check miracle, yes, then they can make you into a saint.
Got it.
So here we are. We meet the titular character, Fred Claus. He's a repo man. He's taken the TV away from this little girl.
Yeah.
Did you like that whole scene where he gives this whole speech about how like he's actually improving her life by taking her TV because now she's not going to become like a prostitute or something?
I don't like anything that happens until we get to the North Pole. I don't think they could have maybe one Vince Vaughn moment, but they have 3, maybe 4, definitely 3 like Vince Vaughn speeches with
Real
they're
ones,
like, this has to be peak Vince Vaughn because they're just like, oh yeah, your riffs are great. People love those. Let's just do them for like 15 to 20 minutes and then we'll get to the rest of the movie. Woof. Yeah. By the time this movie starts, I'm so over Vince Vaughn that it's hard for me to get back on board. And I love Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. It is.
It's
so
brutal.
he takes down the girl, then he is walking away, then he runs back and punches a Santa robot.
Which I did laugh at.
Oh, don't
that's the only part. In fact, if that scene would have been like 20 seconds where he's just a degraded repo man and then like sees Santa is just like, I'm having a bad day and just knocks his brother out, I'm in. Like, that's funny. I get it.
And once again, it's like, you kind of have this movie star-itis thing where they're like, he's down on his luck and blah, blah, blah. He's not really down on his luck.
He seems to be doing okay.
Yes. It's like you think back at the beginning of Stripes with Bill Murray. Bill Murray's life is a disaster.
Yes.
Stripes.
Yes, he is.
Just a disaster. But Vince Vaughn's character has to be able to talk his way out of everything. And so it's never really that much of a disaster.
No. I mean, he's raising $50,000. That's an insane amount of money. And he thinks he can get it.
He thinks he can get it, yes. So we
crazy.
He's in a taxi with Christmas music. I don't remember anything about that.
He's just like, hey, change the station, pal. It's
Every
a wasted
station is
scene.
Christmas music.
Yep.
Yeah. So we meet his girlfriend, Rachel Weisz. She's a traffic cop, hottest traffic cop on the planet. He tells a bunch of lies to her. They fight a bunch of things. And then he charms her. And then he's also forgotten her birthday.
Does he charm her? Because
he says things and then she acts like she's charmed.
Okay, no, I understand that the movie says it, but he doesn't say anything charming or witty or like funny. He's just kind of mean. I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't understand their relationship. She should have left him a long time ago.
He says a bunch of words, and she is barely literate, so she buys into it. That's what I'm saying.
It's a language barrier thing.
So here we come to like the next, because the girlfriend plotline is plotline number one that could be excised
Just
from the entire movie.
Completely bogus.
And you never, although there is one good joke from it. So then this little African American kid comes through his window. His name is Slam.
Slam.
And this kid is like, this plot line is, although it leads to one very nice moment in the movie, probably the nicest moment in the whole movie.
Yep, 100%.
But every other part with this kid is super irrelevant and a little bit painful.
Yes.
And so his dad died or his mom died, and he's living with his grandpa, and they're coming to, we don't really barely even understand. They
really skate over the emotional like core of that storyline, which really makes it very lackluster.
Yeah, so when you get to the emotional thing, you're like, it's emotional, but you're kind of like, but what?
Yeah, like I it's like, oh, that's cute, as opposed to like I'm me weeping. That's the difference. If you give that kid a real storyline, then I'm in.
So now we see him at this location in very expensive Manhattan. This guy's holding the spot for him where he wants to do an off-track betting location, which somehow he knows how to run this and can run this and can, in addition to just $50,000 lease, he's going to do the upgrades and put this thing, which is probably another $150,000 just
easy.
to like get this place up and running. Plus, it's off-track betting, which you probably have to have $4 or $5 million at least in the bank, maybe 20 or 30 million, because you're going to be paying out day one,
unless you're scamming everybody, in which case you're going to get shut down pretty quickly.
So he's setting up a $5 to $20 million business.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
On nothing. On smoke and gas.
On words, baby. It's Vince Vaughn. He can do anything with words.
So, Tony, talk about his solution to trying to get that $50,000.
Does he have one before he calls his brother?
Yes.
What is his first solution?
You don't remember his first solution?
Is this when he becomes a Santa?
Yeah. He puts on a Santa hat.
There's a lot of stuff in this movie I've forgotten already.
He stands on the sidewalk and is like, give me money. And this is where we see what a great scam artist is, because he's scamming so hard the other Santas get mad because he's stealing all of their marks.
Yeah, he's taking
and he's got like about $125 in there or something. And then all the other Santas
have like 8 cents.
Angry.
Yeah. And there are so many. I've never been to New York at Christmas time, but he runs down, ostensibly it looks like he runs in a straight line down a street, and he has like 15 to 20 Santas chasing him. Are there that many?
It's probably 8 to 12, but it's a gigantic group, and there are not that many. And this is like such a classically stupid movie scene where you take something to the extremes. They end up in a toy store, in the mall, all to the song "Bird is the Word, the Word is the Bird."
Bird is the word, which is a great song.
He loses the bucket, so he doesn't even have the money with him. And then they fight in the toy store.
Which is so... There are a couple of fight scenes in this movie that I have no idea why they're in there. Why do we even do this? It doesn't fit the tone of the movie.
Well, it's a Vince Vaughn movie, so it has to be funny.
So is it? Because they didn't do that very well.
So then he's in jail.
Now, before we move on, this scene illuminates the thing I hate most in this movie. Which is the misuse of silly sound effects.
They do that.
Yes, and there's like bing bong, like they're cartoon sound effects in a movie that just doesn't feel like that ever. I got so mad, Dan.
What were the sound effect? Like during the fight?
When they jump, the Santas all jump on him, and it's like it does the like it doesn't even fit the scene, And then later, when they're fighting in the office, there's like, you know how when people, Tom and Jerry, like the pan, it's like, they use that sound effect. And I was like, he didn't even hit him with anything. They use them, I don't know. They misuse sound effects all over this movie. And it really pissed me off.
And you know, this movie actually won the Sound Effects Academy Award.
Fuck you. No, it didn't. I'll quit right now, Dan. I will walk off this stage. I
should have said sound editing because that's what you went for. So he's in jail and he calls Rachel Weisz. And this was I thought was very funny. He'd like set up for her to meet at like this Chinese restaurant, but really it's a Muay Thai fighting restaurant. So she said, so in the background, you don't understand because they cut to the Muay Thai thing, and you're like, "What is happening?
Where am I?"
You realize he has stranded her in the most terrible location ever. I thought that was very funny.
It's funny. I'm just a little confused on is that?
Why are you
do you
confused?
think that exists?
Oh, absolutely, that exists.
Really, with a billboard?
Absolutely.
I just don't feel like that's the kind of place that you advertise for. I feel like that's like an underground, like need to know basis type of place. But it's fine.
I just remember way back when I was a teenager, we would go to downtown LA sometime, and we were looking for a phone because we had to make a call or something. You know, this was back before cell phones.
Sure.
And we like went to the inside this restaurant. And it was, I don't know if it was Russian or Greek or something, but it's like in the middle of like downtown, like nothing going on. Then you open the doors and there's just like, this party. You know, it's like this giant building that is a party. And you're like, you don't know what you're going to find when you open a door.
I guess, I guess that's true.
That's why I like this joke.
Okay, I'm in.
So now we cut to Santa. Santa's stressed out. And he says, they never sent an efficiency expert before.
Uh-huh.
So what we're led to believe in some weird way is that there's some sort of council of magic and holidays, and they regulate everything that goes on. And it's so amorphous because Kevin Spacey's character, who shows up in a few scenes, is there to like audit Santa, but just on his own personal opinion, he wants to destroy Santa.
Yep.
Which doesn't make any sense. That's kind of
really?
like saying we sent the FBI out there. They talked to the guy and then they arrested him and put him in their own personal FBI jail. You know, it doesn't make any. If you're going to set up a hierarchy, there's got to be a hierarchy.
Yeah. No.
And
who is they? We never learn who the they are that Kevin Spacey even works for. I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense.
Granted him these unilateral powers to do whatever he wants in whatever way and set up whatever systems to judge, jury, executioners.
It's just
Santa Claus, a saint, a magical saint. And we find out that Kevin Spacey is just exactly a normal human being, has no other reason, has no special skills to do these things.
Mm-mm. And he doesn't even really seem to have real rules. He just sets up a 3-strike system and then just kind of makes up the strikes as he goes. He's just like, you know what? That's strike number 1. What based on what rules? Cite like a rule. Give me like a rule book, and it's like, oh, that's a violation of 401C. Nope, it's just, you know what? Strike 1. Fuck you, Santa.
Because we've also set up this whole thing where, like, there's this metric where every kid has to get a toy. Which is like so arbitrarily
is it every kid
weird.
Or is it every nice kid?
Every nice kid.
Right. So then Vince. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's just really the magic of this is stupid.
It's very stupid.
The whole thing about doing genre work is you have to lay out your rules right at the beginning.
Yes.
So that you understand what's going on. And then when something happens and there's a tension that comes upon these characters, you understand it and you feel for them. As it is now, we don't really care. We're like, okay, they're going to move it to the South Pole and someone else is going to do it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not like it's
who's
going to
gonna
go
do it?
away.
Yeah, who's going to do it?
Someone
Is it becoming like a line of robots? Is it a negative? Like, honestly, they don't really give me a reason that moving it to the South Pole matters other than, Santa's not going to do it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? He's obviously very stressed. He's overweight. He's binge eating. Like, give the guy a break. Let someone else do it.
So then Vince Vaughn calls him asking for bail money, then asking for the $50,000.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I have some questions because does Santa make money?
How would Santa have money?
Exactly.
I don't know.
So why
would Santa have money?
Vince Vaughn like, you know what? I'm just going to ask him for $50,000, even though he does everything from charity because he's Santa Claus? I don't understand. Is Santa Claus just giving him a gift of 50? I don't get it, Dan. I don't understand the crux of the movie. But
Vince Vaughn does this humorous thing where he's like, if you give me 60,000, I'll give you 10,000 back. Plus, you're just like, and once again, this goes to the cardinal rule of all things. If you are dealing with money in comedy, you better be very, very, very careful because it's going to seem weird and dumb. So Santa's like, okay, well, why don't you come up here and work for me to earn the money? And then I think, doesn't he say no? And then he goes anyways or something?
He definitely fights against it. I don't remember if in the end he's like, okay, I'll do it. But he definitely does another rant about how he's not going to do it. I don't know.
And then he never says yes. And then he ends up being a yes. So his girlfriend is angry. And we see the little kid again. And the little kid wants Vince to say he's his dad. But Vince doesn't want to say he's his dad. Or he does say, he does say he's his dad.
Yeah, I'm the boy's father. What's the problem? Yep.
And then they take the kid anyways to an orphanage. So now he's sitting in the apartment and we hear a boom on the ceiling, which I like that part. I thought that was really neat.
Wait, what? Which part?
He's sitting in the apartment and he hears a boom up on, noise up on the
sleigh
thing. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be so cool. It's going to be like A Year Without a Santa Claus. They will have brought 2 reindeer, and we're going to see Vince Vaughn sitting on a reindeer flying to the North Pole.
That would have been fun.
It would have been very funny. It would have been a great image. You could have done all sorts of funny things, but no.
Instead, this movie just allows pretty much anyone to fly a sleigh anytime they feel like it.
Yes. So the sleigh is up there, and we meet Willie, the guy from all the Christopher Guest movies.
Oh, yeah. No, he's from Fired Up. Dan, one of the greatest films of all time.
Those all things he's from. And then he gets in the sleigh and then they shoot off. Of course, once again, you can always see it.
Yeah.
And no one ever points at it or is like, that's weird or radar or anything else. Although, like in Elf, they dealt with all those things like really easily.
Yeah,
one good line of dialogue and everything is dealt with.
Yeah, they explain it away pretty easily.
This movie doesn't even want to give you one line of dialogue to help you out because it's a dick.
It's a dick.
This part I liked was how fast the sleigh went, and he was actually affected by how fast it went. Yeah, I thought they conveyed the speed of the sleigh very well.
I think they made a mistake in making him have a fear of flying because they don't.
Did he have fear of it?
I mean, he says it, but he doesn't actually ever feel it. So it was just maybe it was just an improv from Vince. I don't really know, but it was the wrong move. Just make it a scary sleigh ride because it goes so fast. That's funny.
So we get to Elftown, and there are Elizabeth Banks' breasts.
Whoa, Dan. I don't understand who she is.
She's a human being,
but I'm so thankful she's in the movie.
Tony,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, whoa. That's all I'll say. We'll move on from that. But whoa, I don't understand. Why is she a sexy? I don't understand why she's even in the movie. If I'm being honest.
Why in a town that is 100% elves except Santa and Mrs. Claus is there one singular human being who's incredibly hot and seemingly human?
Yep.
And wearing like a very, like
super revealing, sexy elf outfit. It's so weird. It doesn't make any sense, and they don't explain why is she even a regular sized human? Just why isn't she just an elf? It doesn't make any sense.
It's so weird. And you're kind of like, if I was making this movie, I'd be like, Vince Vaughn would all be into her, but he never pays for a second look the entire movie.
No, instead you get this weird love story between. Okay.
So then we go and we have the elf Secret Service show up.
Oh, yeah.
And elf crotch to the face is what happens.
Why are they in the movie?
Because somebody thought it would be funny to have Santa's elf Secret Service.
I'm okay with that being a joke, but they have to have a reason. At no point does anybody unannounced come to the North Pole. You never get the idea that anyone has ever done that. So why does he have Secret Service? Back in the Santa Claus, when they give him like the Secret Service elf squad, they have a purpose. They have to go rescue Santa, and it's this fun little moment. They all got jetpacks and shit. It's awesome. In this movie, it's just a stupid throwaway joke for no reason. It's so frustrating.
That we do a couple of times.
A couple of times.
So Fred has to stay with Willie. Willie's an elf, and his beds are tiny. Why they don't have a guest room? Because feasibly, Kevin Spacey is not bunking up with an elf in like a tiny bed. I mean, have him stay with Elizabeth Banks. She probably sleeps in an adult-sized bed. That's where we all want.
It doesn't make any sense. This whole.
So now we get the big tour of the workshop. There's a post office. There's a factory. There's elves, and there's a DJ.
Luda.
Played by
Luda. Come on, baby.
So this is another. Ludacris is now in the Twofer Club. This is the second terrible movie he's been in by us.
Should we start like a board of
this
scores?
Month. Okay, so there's this big beautiful snow globe that you can do peeping Tom stuff on instantaneously. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, super cool.
It is one of the most beautiful special effects in a Santa Claus movie ever. It's so nice, and of course so creepy, and would have led to really weird stuff.
Yeah, yep. I mean, it does. Not in this movie so much, but it does.
Yeah. So Vince Vaughn's character is just going to review files to work his days off, whatever.
Yeah, who knows?
So then Kevin Spacey shows up. He's an efficiency expert. The board is shutting down Santa for the South Pole. He's going to also dump the Easter Bunny.
And the Tooth Fairy, right?
I'm
pretty sure I remember a bit about the Tooth Fairy. Now, I have some questions, Dan.
Okay.
Because we don't really get into this at all. Yeah. But who are they then? If Santa Claus is just a guy who became a saint and then froze in time, who's the Easter Bunny? Who is the Tooth Fairy? Are they humans? Are they magical creatures? I don't understand.
I think the Easter Bunny was there when they tested the gamma bomb, and all those gamma radiation went into him, and he like. Most people don't know he is green.
Okay, great.
I don't know,
but I don't understand why you bring these things if you. It's just
because they're jokes. Because it's once again they're jokes that blow up your whole movie.
Yeah,
and that's the whole idea. Is if you make a joke that implicates something, then you have to deal with that. That's why you don't make jokes like this. You make jokes that are actually jokes.
A part of your narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very upsetting.
So then Fred is peeping on his girlfriend, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan comes over there and asks her out.
Hubba hubba. Say yes, Rachel.
You're just
immediately. If we're talking about, remember in the first scene,
he is so good looking.
He is a beautiful specimen. Just one of my man crushes, as I have a few, but just beautiful. But he's also very charming in this scene. Unlike Vince Vaughn from the beginning, he's like super charming and smiley. And I was like, yes, pick him right now. Stupid. So stupid. You got to get someone who is not like infinitely better than your star. Cuter, smarter, more charming. It's a bad casting choice. Whoever cast
Very
this
bad.
movie should be fired.
And once again, you bring him in and make him gorgeous, and then he never comes
You
back
just
in
drop
the movie.
him like a bad habit. Unbelievable.
You can't do that. You can't do a guest star like that and just throw it away.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I'm so mad.
So Fred's work is piling up, and he gets pissed off because the DJ Luda keeps playing the same song, and so they go and fight, and he tries to lock him in a cabinet.
Did you notice that?
It was the same song?
Yeah.
Kind of.
I 100% did not. I was like, wait, has he really been playing the same song? They never make it like in your face enough for me to be on Vince Vaughn's side here.
Well, because Christmas music is so in the background for most of us. You know, I mean, we don't play it here in the house, but like we go to my parents and they play it 24/7, and I just tune it out. It doesn't mean anything to me. And it all just runs together. It's like one song, basically. So,
yeah, I mean, you're right about that.
And this thing sort of has that same feeling. So he fights with them, and then we end up doing a dance break. And then Vince Vaughn is dancing horribly, and all the elves are dancing, and it's a giant party.
And they're like yelling. I don't know. I don't know.
This is your movie. You better know why.
Wait,
you said you started liking this movie when they got to the North Pole.
I misspoke at North
I'm waiting
Pole.
for the part you liked.
I like this movie once they do the family intervention. The intervention on, it's fine. It's a fine Christmas movie for me. Up until then, it's awful.
When is that?
That's like the last 20
oh
minutes,
God,
I think.
We have so many more pages of this movie. Oh God, this movie is so long. So Kevin Spacey institutes the 3 strikes. Dance party strike 1. We're 45 minutes into the movie. We only have an hour and 10 minutes to go.
Oh God.
They do dinner with mom and dad. Kathy Bates show up.
Yeah.
Whatever. Then we go to the elf bar, and Charlene is there. She, of course, doesn't remember Willie's name again. So Willie, the elf, is in love with Charlene, tall human being. Should elves and humans have sex?
I'm okay with it.
Are you?
Well, here's why I'm okay with it, because I don't understand who they are. You're never told.
Well, let me ask you the question: this: if there's like a 2-foot tall pixie, right, that flies around, can you have sex with that?
I hope so. You know what I'm saying?
It's dirty. It's dirty. It's a different. It's a different species. Should you have sex with an armadillo?
The holiday armadillo from Friends? Maybe.
Yes, that too.
Damn, are they a different species? I don't know.
Yes, they're elves. They're not little people.
You don't know that. I don't know that. I don't
they're
know
magical.
Who they are.
They're magical creatures. They have to be magical creatures.
Dan, but they don't explain any of the magic in this movie. So I'm very confused. At one point, Kevin Spacey doesn't seem to know where they come from, because he's like, go back to Elf something or wherever you come from. And I was just like, he doesn't know where they come from? If he doesn't know, how am I supposed to know?
So you're thinking they're a different race of human beings? So they're like the pygmies that live like in Papua New Guinea or something?
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like the Oompa Loompas? So you're saying that you can have sex with an Oompa Loompa? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't, because they're clearly not human. And that's the difference, is I don't know what the elves are in this movie. And I also don't know what she is, because it's never explained.
Stupid.
I hate it.
Okay, we're going to try to get to that intervention. So Fred is going to teach Willie how to dance, because that's what girls like, is dancing elves. Not sure how there can be an elf that doesn't know how to dance, but whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then he falls down, and Charlene comes back and sees him having fallen down, which I don't know. It did not seem, if she'd have been standing there watching him dance like an idiot for a while, that seems a lot more embarrassing than falling down.
And also, it's funny. I've fallen through a lot of furniture. I'll tell you that. I've broken chairs. I've broken tables. It happens. I'm a big guy and I'm a little bit clumsy. Every time that happens, everybody laughs. We have a good time about it. There's not like that hidden Tony tear. No, I think it's hilarious. It's it's hysterical.
Really?
I
There's
100%.
no, there wasn't, there's no tiny Tony tier.
If
Tiny.
people like made fun of you, like if people attacked you for it, then that would happen.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, it doesn't. Maybe when you were a kid, it would happen. You know,
Sure.
like a mean kid would do it. But as adults, it's just like, what just happened? What is going on? It's hilarious. People love it. Just I don't know. She would have giggled or something. It was like this super traumatic moment. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it.
So Kevin Spacey is shredding the kids' letters that are in Fred's office, and that's strike 2.
He's shredding it, but is there like a record somewhere that those kids sent a letter?
No backup records, they say.
Right.
That.
So what's the problem? There's no paperwork trail to say like, yes, we got a letter from that kid, so therefore you didn't deliver to that kid. That's a strike. From what I can tell, it's just like that kid didn't send anything at this point. I don't know. The rules are confusing to me.
The rules are incredibly stupid. So Fred, now we get another fight with the Secret Service, and one of them gets thrown out a window.
Yeah, he's dead. But that elf is dead. He's at least the second story, at minimum, maybe higher, and he goes straight out the window. And with the way that wind is blowing, once that window's open, he's dead. He's so dead.
So that was dumb. So now we get to the family intervention. So they're intervening with Fred because Fred's a problem, and they've brought in Dr. Goldfarb and Rachel Weisz's character.
Yeah.
And yeah. You like this part?
This got me my first guffaw of the movie. My laugh out loud moment was the Vince Vaughn line where she like explains what she's been up to, and then he's explaining what he's been up to, and he's like, oh yeah, I know, I've been working a lot too, also fighting for my life. And that just made me laugh really hard because he just got attacked.
What do you mean by the elves?
Yeah, he gets attacked by elves, which is stupid. But then he's like, I'm fighting for my life. Like, it's so dumb. Everything is so dumb in this movie.
And Rachel Weisz's character, who has just found out that her boyfriend, I think he said that they were going to get married too.
Yeah, that was definitely on the table.
Immortal and Santa Claus's brother.
And she's just cool. She just plays it totally chill.
There's no
we don't deal with that at all. But then in the end, when they're like, get back together, shouldn't there be a conversation of being like, okay, so what's going to happen? Do I become immortal when we get married? Because I'm not sure I want to be immortal. I don't know. It's weird, and we just don't deal with it.
This is the whole setup of what, as I was saying, when you set stupid things up, it sets up all things that go on in the mind of the audience that a percentage of audience members are never going to get past.
Yep.
And your movie it stutters. It's like
skates right over it.
So then Spacey and Fred have a confrontational scene, which was actually not a bad scene.
There are a couple of scenes that are supremely well acted and don't fit in this movie at all.
Yeah. And, he does this whole, you're a tree in the shadow of a bigger tree, which is like a really good line. Really. And I really thought that, and Fred's leaving. And I really thought Fred was going to say, nope, you're I really thought this was going to be the point where he took charge of everything.
Sure.
And maybe took charge of everything and then screwed it all up and really ruined things. But no, he just leaves.
Yeah, no, that makes more sense.
Because that's who this character is. He's not, he doesn't slink away.
Yeah, no, not at all. That definitely should have been what happened, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah. So he slinks away. Oh, before looking and sees that Slam is being naughty and fighting with other kids.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the naughty list real quick.
Yeah.
Because where are my notes on the naughty list? What's crazy is like the top naughty kid, they describe him as a kid he just bit 2 people.
That's not very naughty.
That's the most naughty kid on the planet Earth? He bit 2 people? Who cares? Oh my God. What a joke. And then Slam becomes the most naughty kid
No, he
because
doesn't.
he got
He
in a
does not
fight?
become. He does not become the most naughty kid.
Yes, he does. That's
Does
what
he
happened.
really?
That's
He
why Vince
becomes
Vaughn
the
looks in
most
the
naughty
globe.
kid.
It spins and updates, and he's the number one naughty kid. And he's like, "Oh no, I better check in on him." And he's just having a fight in an orphanage. I assume that happens a lot.
And I don't think that makes you that naughty when you're
No.
under constant, duress in your life.
Yeah. Oh, ridiculous.
So Fred and Santa fight, and they do a snowball fight. You're fat. Then they do a snowmobile fight. What's a snowmobile fight?
He literally, Santa gets on the snowmobile, drives at Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn jumps on his back, and then they just, crash. It's awful. Truly terrible. Real quickly, we got to go back for 1 second. I got to talk about my elves one last time. I'm sorry.
Elves?
I just discovered a note that when they barge in and they're doing the dance number and they're all having a great time, Kevin Spacey shows up and is like, "Oh, this is bad." And Santa says, "Hey, they've never behaved like this." And Kevin Spacey responds with, "No elf discipline." And that's a strike. As if elf discipline, are they like pets? Are they slaves?
They're like armadillos.
I don't understand.
They're slaves. They're pets.
It's all weird.
Do you have sex with your pet?
No. Let me be very clear.
There it is.
I do not. But
the humans should not be having sex with the elves.
But is she human? I don't know, Dan.
She's human. She's human statured. She's the stature of a human being. Or maybe she's like the misfit elf that's very tall.
It's never explained.
Wouldn't that be interesting if we talked about that? So Fred's leaving. I want my money. Deal's a deal. Gives him the money. Kevin Spacey gives him the third strike because of Fred. I don't know what even the third strike was.
Yeah, who cares?
And gives a pink slip. Literally a pink slip.
Which it made me
I
laugh.
think if a kid today watched this movie, they'd be like,
they don't know what it is.
Why is there a pink slip?
What does this mean? I don't understand.
When was the last time they had pink slips? I've never had it in my life.
80s.
Did they have them in the 80s, or was it a thing you continued to talk about in the 80s?
That it was in movies in the 80s. They talked about it. I don't know. But
I think pink slips is a thing from the thing they did in the 60s. So he's back in his apartment. He opens the gift. It's a birdhouse. And I thought that was very sweet.
It was. Yeah. It's a nice little moment.
And now we're going to get to Tony's favorite part of the movie. What is your favorite part of the movie?
Oh, hold on. I don't know. Is it the Superman scene?
Nope.
I don't know. What scene is my favorite?
Siblings Anonymous.
Oh, no, you're right. I did actually like this. Frank Stallone in there cracked me up.
This is it's a very humorous scene.
Yeah.
It should not be in this movie.
Nope.
It absolutely should. So he's going through all this stuff. He's got his off-track betting to get going, blah, blah, blah. What does he do? He goes to a Siblings Anonymous meeting. Vince Vaughn's character, who no apologies, nothing, doesn't care, goes to a Siblings Anonymous, and Frank Stallone is there. Bill Clinton's brother Roger Clinton is there, and Stephen Baldwin is there.
Stephen Baldwin, that's the one. I don't remember which Baldwin.
They make a bunch of jokes about being, he says, "I'm Santa's brother," and they don't believe him. It was all very funny.
Yeah, it's a great scene, and I imagine that was like one of the first things they thought of. Were like, it would be funny. And they're right. It should just be like an entirely separate thing from this movie because it tonally doesn't work. And it's also way funnier than pretty much the rest of the movie.
So it's December 22nd. He realizes that he's got to do it for his family because of the Siblings Anonymous meeting.
Yeah.
So he spends the $50,000 renting a plane, an icebreaker ship, a dog sled, and snowshoes to get back up to the North Pole in 3 days. And you know what? Think about it for a second. You always kind of wondered, why did they set up that weird December 22nd date?
so that he could get back in time, realistically.
So this arbitrary return doesn't seem that absurd.
It's really good. It's really good planning. That's called working backwards, Dan. Top-notch writing.
That is writing. So Fred's big plan, we got to make a toy for everybody. Let's just make a hula hoop and a baseball bat, because we have to, you can't give a girl a baseball bat. Can't give everybody a baseball bat because that would be...
Yeah, I mean, girls don't play with boy toys and then vice versa. It's a thing. It's a thing, Dan. Don't worry.
They die if they touch the wrong
they shrivel
sex
away.
toys.
Oh, no. But I will say that I do like the message here that Vince conveys, which is every child deserves a present on Christmas, naughty or nice. I like that. And I wish that I do wish that moral was a little bit better, ironed out throughout the entire movie. Because I do like it. It's a nice Christmas message.
There's so many messages that you could have decided what your message was, but they were like, let's go for all of them.
Just throw them in a blender, see what happens.
Let's do them all. We got time. Let's do them all. So, in addition to everything now, we find out that Santa has thrown his back out.
Yes. Was that during the fight? I feel like that was when he crashed the snowmobile.
They could have said that, maybe.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely. Because I don't know. But, being overweight myself, I've thrown my back out a couple of times. I get it. I sympathize.
Oh, here's the part. This was the part that was the problem. Santa's like, I can't do it. Vince Vaughn, it's too huge. And then he's like, he leaves, and then he goes and he does it. So he says he can't do it. Then he just goes and he does it. But he doesn't. It felt like he should have. I don't know. It's a bunch of bargaining.
Yes.
And this whole movie gets down to money and bargaining and this, that, and the other thing, as opposed to somebody really coming around. Oh, and that was the whole thing is it has to be a Claus that delivers the present.
Yeah. Okay.
And they literally missed the best joke ever, which, oh yes, the Claus.
Well, I think
right?
the Santa Claus has already used that joke.
They did the Claus?
I think so. I'm not totally sure,
but
that sounds familiar. Either way, they missed a lot of jokes. And also, where is this contract that says only a Claus can do it? Is this like a Kevin Spacey thing?
It has to do with all the rules.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. But I will say this ending is literally a Flintstones Christmas special, which I watch every year on Christmas Eve, where Fred takes over as Santa because he has a cold, and Fred delivers all the presents. So this movie was stolen from the fucking Flintstones. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's ridiculous. Ugh.
So then we have the giant montage of him doing the deliveries, and he's clumsy at first, and then he gets better at it.
Why aren't there jokes in this?
There was one joke.
There was?
There was one joke.
What was it?
Joke. I'll get to it.
Okay.
And this is to the montage of the Waitress's Christmas song, which is absolutely my favorite Christmas song of all time, which I love, which has nothing to do with what this montage is about.
Got it.
It's the woman singing, but it's all about her getting together with this guy, and they never can connect, and then they finally connect on Christmas Eve. And it's a beautiful romantic song.
Yeah, how does that fit in this movie?
It does not fit in this movie at all. But this thing, this song is very Christmassy, and so they just
I wasn't listening to the lyrics at all, I'll tell you that, and I was just like bopping along.
Yeah. So it's like a great emotional song that has nothing to do, just like Bird is the word during the Santa Claus chase.
Yeah,
great song, great energy. No relationship to what's happening.
Has nothing to do with the movie at all.
So one of the kids leaves him flan instead of cookies and milk. This thing of flan.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Which I found that funny. Very weird.
It is. It's definitely that. I don't know.
In the midst of all this, he goes and he sees Slam in the orphanage, and he's in profile shadowed profile, and he gives this great speech, and it's super emotional.
Yeah,
and it
it's a
shows
nice
you
little
that
scene.
Vince Vaughn can really act. He can hit emotional stuff.
Which is unfortunate that we haven't used it for the previous hour 40 minutes, but that's fine.
So Spacey shuts off the lights, and then Santa remembers Spacey now.
Oh, wait,
now
hold on. This is the point.
Sure.
This is the part, Dan, when he's telling the elves that they're fired. He says, and I quote, "You're all taking a trip back to Elphistan or wherever you're from."
Elphistan, yes.
What? First of all, that's an awful line. But second, he doesn't know where they're from.
There's Shannon.
Are you ready?
Hi, Shannon.
No, it's 11. Come back in like 10 minutes.
That's optimistic.
I don't know.
No, it's fine.
We're getting there. So
we are getting there.
Go back to Elphistan. So he remembers him. He was supposed to bring him a Superman cape. What did he? Why was he a naughty kid? I don't remember why he didn't get the cape.
Oh, because he was getting in fights, much like Slam does, because the kids were calling him Four-Eyed Clyde. Yeah. Because he wears glasses. And Clark Kent wears glasses, but when he's Superman, he doesn't need the glasses. So he needed the cape to become Superman, so he didn't need the glasses, and,
And
classic.
Then they turn the power on. It doesn't work, but it still works, and they still deliver the presents. And
it was strange. Why did the power not come on? And then they're just like, "Wow, we're flying blind out here." But then they do it fine. There's no struggle. Then it's just like, "Well, we don't have any help, but we'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We can still do it."
Because that's this movie. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Cut. They're doing it.
I did it. I did it already. We've already done it. Don't worry.
So we get back, and I wrote the big kiss. I guess that's when Elizabeth Banks gets kissed by
that's
Willie.
when my boy Willie gets on a stool and makes out with the hot elf.
I will say this about this movie is the elf face integration was pretty damn good. The whole movie.
It wasn't bad. I was expecting, remember that like jib jab where you could put your own face on an elf? That's kind of what I was expecting when I went into the movie. And I thought it worked pretty good. I thought they did a good job.
We did it. And then we have a whole Silent Night, Holy Night, and they watch everybody opening presents on this giant snow globe. Which is,
I didn't like it. It's so much slower than the rest of the movie. That song is like so melancholy. Like the rendition is so low key.
Yeah, it was super.
And I don't know. The one thing I want to say at the end is when Vince Vaughn is just magically in his girlfriend's apartment. And she's like, "You know what? We're getting a little restraining order right now." Like, because he's just in her apartment. And he's like, no. I live here. Don't worry. And then she's cool with that.
No. I'm moving in with you.
Right.
He literally just says to her, "By the way, I'm moving in with you, and here's a trip to France. Oh, but we're taking a trip to France."
Yes.
Which they do on the sleigh.
Because you can just use it anytime you want.
Yeah, but it was really creepy. It was super
so
creepy.
And it started where she was scared, and then he was like, no, we're moving. And she's like, "Oh, thank God. That explains why you're in my apartment." No, sorry. I'm calling the cops on this dude. Like, get out, sir. Where's Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Where's Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Where's his card? I need that number. So we find out what happens to everybody. Kevin Spacey works for Santa now in efficiency. Willie and Charlene are having babies. Slam got his family, and Santa got his brother back. Cue the Wonderful World song.
Yeah. The only part that I like, the ending wrap up, was the kid got adopted. I was happy. I was like, oh, good.
Yeah. Kind of arbitrarily. That didn't make any sense.
Well, also, I guess I was kind of expecting Vince Vaughn to adopt him, if I'm being honest, Vince and Rachel. But
couldn't do that.
At least he's got somebody. That's nice.
So this movie, what do we really have to say about this movie? It just was so much so much pile on that it never felt like a movie. It never felt like there was a theme that was the theme two brothers get together, was the theme Santa Claus thinks he's magical and he has to. What's happening?
My cat just ran into my camera. Smacked his head on it.
Is this what does this movie want to be about? And it chooses not to be about one thing, but to be about whatever each scene is that it's in. And you think about like Scrooged.
Ugh.
Talk about how straightforward that movie is. Although that movie weaves together all these different stories, but they all integrate in to the one major plot line that is resolved at the end.
Because that's how you make a movie. That's how you make a movie. And I truly believe there's a good idea in this script. It got all messed up. Oh, you look good.
So that's
So the one thing I want to say, this will be my final thoughts, is this was written by Dan Fogelman, who created This Is Us recently. If you've watched that show,
I've heard of that.
Beautiful show. He also created Pitch, which only lasted a season, but I thought that show was great. And he also created Gallivant, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. And he wrote Cars 1 and 2.
Oh,
he
that's
wrote
why I hate
Tangled.
him.
Like he's a good writer. Like he writes good stuff. I don't understand.
The Cars movies are good.
The Cars 1 is really good. You don't like it? Ka-ching?
No.
Ka-ching?
Ugh.
That's his
I think I hate most Pixar movies. That one's not like my most hated. Finding Nemo is my most hated. My absolute most hated Pixar movie.
What are you talking about?
That movie's garbage.
That movie is so good. I cry so hard.
Okay, yeah. And there's lots of things I can watch that are terrible that'll make me cry. Yeah.
For being
also,
the sentimental sap that you are, Dan, Finding Nemo should be right up your alley.
Why does Nemo, what he's got, like one of his fins is too small and he's got a serious issue? Why?
For emotional, weight.
How is that played out in the movie?
It doesn't really play out in the movie.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that to a character if there's not a reason for that character to have that situation? Why would that be? Oh yeah, you're manipulating an audience because you want them to feel what you want them to feel.
Yeah,
That's
Pixar,
bullshit.
Best in the business at manipulation, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And not making good movies, making bad manipulative movies that are not fun. We should talk about Bug's Life at some point. Watch asshole Bug fail to the top. Ugh, what a garbage movie that is.
I can't remember the last time I saw A Bug's Life.
Yeah, because you don't want to watch it because it's terrible.
Yeah. Although
Just
I did
like
the
all those
3D experience at Disneyland, and that was pretty good.
Although I do like Ratatouille. Ratatouille is great.
Yeah, sure.
But most of the rest of them, total garbage.
Interesting, Dan.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
It's a personal opinion.
It is indeed. You're allowed to have it.
If you don't like my opinion, tell Tony he's an asshole.
Then get the out of here.
Okay, now's the point at which we talk about something we like, which is not a Pixar film. I just watched this movie, which I'm sure you have seen and everyone else has probably seen, but I had not ever seen it. Whiplash.
Ah, yes, of course. Whiplash. Yep.
And watching Whiplash, I watched the first half of Fred Claus, then I watched Whiplash, then I watched the second half of Fred Claus.
No wonder you didn't like the second half of Fred Claus.
Boy, does that put things in. I did not hate Fred Claus. It was mostly just sort of like a boring confection. It's like eating a rice cake. Although if the popcorn flavored rice cakes I love. It's kind of like that. And then you watch Whiplash and you're just like, oh my God, human beings, human strife, things happening, intensity. At some points they've built you up, and you're just like,
Yeah.
you know. And then they let off the throttle, and you're like, I'm alive.
I gotta
I'm
breathe through
I'm
it.
alive. And you know that movie was made on this quick budget. Like, I think they shot it in like 6 weeks or something crazy. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and what's his name's good. You know, I don't know if he ever did anything good after
boy.
that. Miles Teller.
Yeah, Miles Teller went on to do a couple things and then crash and burned in Fantastic Four.
He was so bad in that.
They
movie
were
is so
all bad. To be fair, that movie is garbage, and it's not their fault.
I don't know. So,
But,
Whiplash
you got
for
J.K.
me.
Simmons in Whiplash, and he's unbelievable.
He hot and colds you so hard. You know,
Yeah.
that final twist. Your brain can't throw to the future because you know that you can't know. I mean, maybe other people knew exactly what was coming.
I did not.
Certainly didn't.
I sure did not. No, that's
It's
a great
like
movie.
It's a masterful turn. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's great. That came out like what, 5 years ago, something like that, 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, better late than never, Dan. Welcome to the party.
Kleckner did the greatest sketch ever based on it.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that's a brilliant sketch.
Okay, Tony, what you got for us?
All right, Dan, you are gonna love my pick of the week. You're gonna love it, just like last week's. You're gonna love it. This week I am picking Saved by the Bell. I don't know if they're calling
The
it a
original
reboot
series?
and a revival. No, the new one on
I mean,
Peacock.
the original series. The original series.
No, Dan, this.
Original series?
I mean, I guess it is an original series.
Yes, the original series.
Have you seen this on Peacock?
I don't have Peacock.
The revival? Okay. I think you should. It's brilliant.
In the door.
It's
Yeah.
half nostalgia and half satire. And they blend it really
Put
well
that in your
together.
ear.
It's brilliant. Oh yeah, come closer.
Don't-
What?
Don't. Okay, you can come over. There's this camera where we'll see that you can't be seen. Jesus. So you really liked it?
I really liked it. It's very smart. It's the way that I wish all of the reboots kind of handled it, which is half making fun of yourself and half like genuinely trying to do a real show. Yeah, like I feel like the 90210 reboot tried to do that and just fell very, very short, but like they pull it off really nicely. I was really pleasantly surprised with Saved by the Bell. Worth checking out.
So for next week, we're going to have, since we have a bonus 5th week, we're going to have a guest star, which is my wife,
Yeah.
Shannon, who does not want to appear on camera,
No.
but she's just going to lurk to the side and commentate.
But let me tell you, I have the best, worst movie ever.
I'm ready for this.
Are you sure?
I'm seated. I'm strapped in. I got
want
a couple
you to-
of seat
yeah.
belts.
Hang on.
I'm ready.
And I want you to look at the
Are
fuck.
you-
I was trying to do your talking for you.
I know what you're doing. It's stupid.
He's a
Stop it.
ventriloquist.
So let me preface this by I will hit him.
Please do. Because all I want to see is the hand come into frame and just like smack him.
Let me preface this by saying your wife
Your wife.
is going
Your
to
wife. She already does, but please pile
she's
on.
gonna hate it. And it might be angry.
Okay.
Seriously, you need to knock it the fuck off. Okay. All right,
Oh
here
my
we
God.
go.
Yes.
The Blue Lagoon from 1980, starring Christopher Atkins and Brooke Shields.
You don't even know what this
Shields.
movie is. Do you know what this movie is?
I only know
He's
what this
gonna
movie
find
is
out.
because Entourage references it.
Yeah, well, there it is. That says it all, doesn't it?
I'm ready. Apparently, Brooke Shields very attractive in this movie.
She's
That's what I
very
know.
pretty.
Okay.
Christopher Atkins is amazingly good looking. I saw
Oh.
this film when I was 13. I don't know how my mother let me do this.
Really? Okay.
Because wow.
Is there some sexy time in this movie?
Oh.
They make many, many babies.
We're going to make up for our
Gratuitous.
50 Shades experience.
Well, it's more disturbing, really. And as Roger Ebert said, it is the dumbest movie ever made.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this.
It's pretty, but it's going to be amazing.
I'm excited.
Amazing as in terrifically horrible.
Beautiful. I'm
It
ready.
was either that or Pretty in Pink, so I went with this.
Oh, Pretty in Pink. A classic.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I have not seen it since I was maybe 11, 12.
Yeah. When you
Something
think
like
about it, when you think about Pretty in Pink now and you sort of relive it, you go, oh my God, what the hell? Yeah. But this is worse.
All right, Blue Lagoon. I'm ready.
Blue Lagoon. Yeah.
Dan, you haven't said anything. Are you excited for this movie?
Yes.
Don't act like
Gotta double check.
You know what
yes,
we
yes,
do
I'm
on
very
this
excited.
show, don't you?
you're supposed to do it at Tony, not at me.
She's got a point, Dan. You should be directing your hatred towards me like normal. If anything, you guys should gang up on me and do like a 2-on-1 attack.
No, I think we should gang up on him because honestly,
I'm ready for
this
that.
is what my life is, right?
Biting.
Oh, you bit.
Naughty-
You bit. You're the
naughtiness.
naughtiest kid in the world, Dan.
2 bites. 2 bites, you're out.
Krampus. All right.
Okay. We'll see you next week, Shannon.
Thanks,
Well, we
Shannon.
won't see you next week. We'll hear you next week
We'll
as
hear
a
it.
disembodied voice. I'm going to make a puppet. I'm going to do a puppet for
No,
her.
you're not going to do a puppet.
I'm not against the
Bye.
puppet.
Bye.
Bye, Shannon.
Ooh, it's going to be a disaster.
Dan, the
Mitigated
puppet would be
proportions.
very funny. Just throwing it out
Yeah,
there.
of course it would be very funny. She'd kill me.
That's why it would be so funny.
You can bring your cat with you next time.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah.
So we're going to go into the Blue Lagoon, see some underage romantic stuff.
Do we? I really don't even know what this is about.
Oh, you don't know what it's about?
I don't know what it's about.
It's about these 2 teenage kids that get stranded on an island.
Yep.
It's just the 2
Two
of them.
young children marooned on a tropical island paradise. Oh, I'm ready for this.
And then their growing sexuality as they... I don't know why the hell she picked this movie. It's not going to go well.
Oh man, I'm pumped. This is gonna
Not
be good.
that it ever goes well. I gotta get a headphone splitter. There must be such a thing, right? Headphone
Oh, there's
splitter?
definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I better order that today. So we can each have our own headphones.
Very smart.
So feel free to come topless, Tony.
I will.
Because
I'll watch
gonna-
the movie and I'll make a decision.
Gonna be beach weather.
I'll come in like a sombrero, a beach hat. What are those called? Those big floppy
Sombrero.
ones?
That's what they're called. Sombrero. Jesus. Tony. Sombrero.
I'm not into fashion. I don't know what hats are called.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay, we're gonna call it. Time to call it.
Time of death, 11/24.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy. Oh no, I guess that's it. We'll see you before the new year.
Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you do, just do it a little more comforting.
Just do it right. Do it all right.
Do it like Fred Claus does it, you know? I'm living with you now, baby, whether you like it or not.
Just sneak into their house and camp out. Don't worry about it.
If you made it to the end, leave a comment or a like or subscribe.
And God bless you.
God bless us all, tiny team.
Everyone. I should have played that part. I could have nailed it.
Hate watching